Canadians are cutting back on eating out and restaurants are feeling it. A new study suggests thousands of restaurants could close in 2026.
You've driven past one recently, a restaurant you used to take the kids to, and now the parking lot's empty at 7 p.m. The sign's dark, there's a paper taped to the door, and the weeds are already growing through the cracks in the drive-thru. Restaurant prices are up 34% since 2019. The families these places were built for, they're the ones walking away first, and they're not coming back. Today, we're counting down 7 restaurant chains that may not survive to see 2027. These aren't rumors. These are bankruptcy filings, mass closures, and financial warning signs already on the public record. If your favorite is on this list, this might be the last time you hear about it before the lights go off. As usual, we'll share advice on how to survive the declining quality in all these chains. Number 7 is a chain that's been quietly bleeding out while most people weren't paying attention. Applebee's, the neighborhood grill that stopped being neighborly about 3 cost-cutting cycles ago. Walk into one on a Friday night and you'll feel it immediately. Half the parking lot is empty, the menus are sticky, one server is covering 8 tables, and she hasn't made eye contact with your side of the room in 20 minutes. You order the 2 for $25. The steak shows up gray and lukewarm, with grill marks that look painted on. The shrimp are the size of your thumbnail and taste like they came out of a freezer bag that's been opened and resealed one too many times. The garlic bread is somehow both stale and soggy. This is the meal they're advertising. Former employees on Reddit describe exactly how it happens. Corporate pushes promos while slashing labor hours. Fewer cooks, fewer servers, corners cut on every plate. One worker put it simply, everything that can be microwaved is. In just the first half of 2025, Applebee's closed 85 locations and opened 16. That's more than 2 restaurants going dark every single week. 7 consecutive quarters of same-store sales declines. Their parent company, Dine Brands, is sitting on $1.2 billion in long-term debt. Their big rescue plan? Bolting an IHOP onto the side of 80 Applebee's by end of 2026.
When your survival strategy is duct taping a second sinking brand to the hull, the ship has already gone under. And here's the thing, Dine Brands announced a 4-pronged strategy to turn things around. Remember that phrase, turnaround strategy. You're going to hear it 6 more times before this video is over. Whenever you hear that often in an industry, it means things are getting worse for the customers. 2/3 of Applebee's customers earn under $75,000 a year. For a lot of working families, this wasn't a treat. It was the only sit-down place in town where the kids could eat and you could still pay the bill. That option is vanishing. If your local Applebee's has gone downhill, stop going back hoping it'll get better. It won't. Check Google reviews, and if the last 6 months are full of complaints about wait times and cold food, save your money. A local diner will treat you better for the same price or less. Applebee's has been sliding for years, but the next chain on this list? That one used to be special, and the speed of the decline will surprise you.
Outback Steakhouse, the bloomin' onion, the bread on the table, the vaguely Australian vibe that had absolutely nothing to do with Australia, but somehow made you feel like you were doing something special on a Tuesday night. Here's what Tuesday night looks like now. You sit down. The dining room feels empty for 7 p.m. The server takes 10 minutes to appear. You order a ribeye, $29 before tip. It arrives overcooked, gray in the middle where it should be pink, with a side of broccoli that's been steamed into submission. The steak has the texture of a wallet that went through the washing machine for $29. Meanwhile, Texas Roadhouse is serving a better cooked steak for $23. Longhorn for about $26.50. After tip, your Outback dinner is $35. That Texas Roadhouse steak, $28 out the door. On the menu, it's a $6 gap. On your credit card, it's $7 wider. And the food isn't $7 better. It might not even be food. At its peak, Outback had 750 locations. That number is under 670 and falling. More than 80 restaurants gone in under 2 years. Parent company Bloomin' Brands also owns Carrabba's, Bonefish Grill, and Fleming's, and sales are declining across all 4 brands. When you can't keep a single concept alive, that's trouble. When you can't keep 4 alive, that's a corporate family eating itself. One customer summed up under one of our videos, spent over $50 on weak drinks and a terrible steak,
then switched to Texas Roadhouse and never went back. That's not one bad night. That's a breakup letter written on a receipt. See? We do read your comments. Bloomin' Brands announced a, wait for it, comprehensive turnaround strategy. That's twice now. We're just getting started. If you're craving a steakhouse dinner, skip Outback. Texas Roadhouse and Longhorn are serving better food at lower prices, with servers who actually come back to check on you. Same craving, better execution, lower bill. Outback's problem is a slow bleed. Prices up, quality down, customers walking. The next chain's problem is different. It tried to grow bigger, it failed, and now it's caving in on itself.
Jack in the Box. Burgers, tacos, breakfast at midnight, egg rolls. The menu is longer than a CVS receipt, and none of it is particularly good. When your competitor has a clear $5 meal deal, and your pitch is, we sell everything, poorly, customers leave. You want to know what's actually going on in the kitchen? Fast food workers on Reddit describe reusing the same fryer oil all day. Fries, chicken, fish, all swimming in the same blackened bath. By noon, that oil has seen more action than a rest stop bathroom. Drive-through speed metrics prioritize getting you out the window over getting your order right. And then there's the taco, the famous Jack in the Box taco. If you've had one, you know. It arrives looking like someone sat on it. The shell is somehow both greasy and cardboard stiff. The meat inside is a mystery paste that doesn't resemble any animal you've ever seen walking around. And 2 of those cost $1.49. You get what you pay for. Sometimes you get less. The stock lost more than half its value. They're closing 150 to 200 locations. They bought Del Taco, couldn't turn a profit on it, and dumped it. Sold it to the same investor group that just bought Denny's. Keep that name in mind. You'll hear this again too. They called their closure plan Jack on Track. That's not a turnaround strategy. That's a bumper sticker on a car with no engine. When Jack in the Box pulls out of a small town, that's not one fewer option. Sometimes it was the option. The family that hit the drive-thru on the way home because nothing else was open, now they've got an empty building and a faded menu board nobody's coming back to read. If your local Jack in the Box has cut hours or shrunk the menu, stop waiting for it to recover. If McDonald's or a local taqueria is within driving distance, your stomach and your wallet will both thank you. Drop a comment. When's the last time you went to any chain on this list? Was it better or worse than you remembered? This helps other viewers. Somebody else just made the decision for the next chain on this list. And if you know what private equity does to restaurant brands, you already know where this is going. Denny's, the Grand Slam, the 2 a.m. booth, the place that was supposed to always be there no matter what. And that constant just got sold to a private equity firm for $620 million. The buyer is Tri-Artisan Capital Advisors. They also own P.F. Chang's. They had major stakes in TGI Fridays and Hooters. Both filed for bankruptcy in 2024. That's a pattern. And now they're in charge of your Grand Slam. Before the sale even closed, Denny's had shuttered 150 locations. The weakest stores had annual operating profit under $25,000. In restaurant language, that's barely enough to pay one employee for a year. Forget the rent. So what does PE ownership actually taste like? You'll know it when you see it. The syrup goes from maple to corn syrup with caramel color. The coffee that used to be decent starts tasting like it was brewed in a parking lot. The eggs in your Grand Slam get that weird rubbery bounce, the kind that tells you they came out of a carton, not a shell. The pancakes go from fluffy to flat because the batter recipe changed to something cheaper that holds up better in a warmer. You won't get a menu update. You'll just notice that the food doesn't taste right anymore, and you'll wonder if it's you. It's not you. It's the spreadsheet. Here's the playbook, and we've watched it kill restaurants in real time. Red Lobster is the textbook case. New owners load the company with debt, then slash costs to service it. Staffing thins, quality drops, beloved locations get axed, and nobody's checking. The FDA isn't monitoring whether your diner swapped real butter for margarine. Inspectors keep you from getting acutely sick.
they don't protect you from the slow decline in what's actually on your plate. Here's the part that keeps me up at night. For a lot of seniors, Denny's is the Tuesday morning booth with the same 3 friends. The waitress who knows their order before they sit down. When those locations close, those people don't just lose a restaurant, they lose a routine. And for some of them, CDC data backs this up. Losing that social routine is linked to worse health outcomes. Isolation isn't just lonely, it's dangerous. That's not a meal, that's a lifeline. And private equity doesn't factor lifelines into the spreadsheet. That's when you realize you're not a valued customer, you're collateral in a war for profits. If your Denny's starts changing, shorter hours, smaller menu, food that doesn't taste the way it used to, don't wait around to see how bad it gets. Find a locally owned diner. Ask your neighbors where they go for breakfast. Those places don't have PE firms deciding whether your booth is profitable enough to keep open. If you're watching this and starting to realize what's happening behind the scenes at the restaurants you trust, stay right here. We investigate what companies hope you never ask about. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one, because the last 3 chains on this list are in even deeper trouble. If you've eaten at one of these restaurants in the last month, drop a 4 in the comments. I want to know how many of you are personally affected by this list.
Red Robin, bottomless fries. That was the whole deal. Cooked fresh, seasoned right, refilled before you had to ask. The reason you loaded the family into the car on a Saturday night and didn't flinch at the bill. Here's what bottomless fries look like in 2026. You get your first basket, and they're fine, maybe. Then you ask for a refill. Your server disappears for 15 minutes. The second basket shows up lukewarm, limp, and half the size of the first. The seasoning is inconsistent. Some fries are naked, some are caked in salt like they fell into the shaker. The third refill? Don't hold your breath. You'll finish your burger waiting for fries that used to be the whole reason you came. Bottomless now means we'll bring more when we feel like it, if we remember you exist. Net loss in 2024, $77.5 million. That's $212,000 a day. Talk about bleeding money. Up to 70 locations under consideration for closure. The stock dropped so low that vulture investors started circling. The kind who buy companies to strip them for parts, not save them. Customers aren't quiet about it under our videos and forums. One viewer bought a $50 gift card, had 3 bad meals, and gave the remaining balance away. Servers are covering 10+ tables. Corners are being cut on every plate. Red Robin's bottomless fries weren't a gimmick for families. They were the reason you could take 2 teenagers there and not leave broke. The $9.99 Big Yum value meal? That's not a recovery plan. That's a garage sale. Guess what? Red Robin's leadership introduced the North Star 5-point plan. These companies spend more time naming their rescue plans than executing them. 100 years ago, Red Robin started as a Seattle tavern advertised for rent at $30 a month. Now, it's carrying $178 million in debt. Sentiment doesn't pay creditors, and bottomless fries can't fix the math. If your family loves Red Robin, don't just hope it sticks around. Go this month if you want to, but start trying local burger joints. Many of them serve better food at the same price, with actual service. And they'll still be there next year. Red Robin might not be. Red Robin is a billion-dollar company bleeding out. But the next chain? It's one of the 3 biggest burger chains in America. And the fact that it's here at all should tell you how bad things really are.
Wendy's, nearly 6,000 U.S. locations, 3rd largest burger chain in America.
This is not some regional franchise having an identity crisis. This is a fast food giant, and it's actively shrinking. Scary. In 2024, Wendy's opened 276 restaurants and closed 276. Net growth, 0.
The 3rd largest burger chain in America ran as hard as it could for an entire year and ended up exactly where it started.
That's not growing. That's a hamster wheel with a drive-through window.
Up to 350 more locations are on the chopping block. 140 already shut down by early 2026.
CEO Ken Cook described the closures as aligning operating hours to better match demand. Translation? They're shutting down the restaurants that are losing money. That's not a strategy, that's triage in a mass casualty event. They call their plan Project Fresh. I know, another one. At this point, hearing turnaround plan in a restaurant press release is like hearing we need to talk from someone who's already packed their bags. Now, about that food. Workers on Reddit describe reusing fryer oil all day. Old fries tossed back in with the new batch. Your Baconator patty, the square one that used to be thick enough to notice, has been getting thinner. The lettuce on the sandwich looks like it lost the will to live 3 days ago. And the Frosty machine? If your location's Frosty machine actually works, consider yourself blessed. Half the locations in America seem to have a permanent Frosty machine is down sign that's been taped up so long the edges are curling. Management cuts the staff, cuts the hours, cuts the ingredients, then wonders why the customer doesn't come back. When Wendy's closes a location in a small town, that's not one fewer option. Sometimes it's the option. The family that grabbed dinner on the way home from work, now they're driving 20 minutes or eating gas station food. Here's something you can do right now. Pull up Google reviews for your local Wendy's. Filter by the last 6 months. Count how many one-star reviews mention cold food, slow service, or it used to be better. If it's more than a handful, that's not bad luck. That's a pattern, and patterns don't reverse themselves. If the reviews are tanking, take your money to the Chick-fil-A or the local burger spot down the road. Vote with your wallet before they close the vote for you. I know putting Wendy's this high will start a war in the comments. Look at the numbers and tell me I'm wrong. Drop the chain on this list you'd defend to the death. I want to see who's got the most loyal fans. Wendy's is closing hundreds of locations, but the chain at number 1, it's not shrinking, it's practically gone.
TGI Fridays didn't just serve food. It invented a way of eating out. Founded in 1965 in Manhattan, popularized happy hour, created the loaded potato skin as an American institution, the flair on the uniforms, the packed bar on a Friday night, the birthday dinners where the whole staff came over clapping and you pretended to be embarrassed but secretly loved every second. At its peak, over 600 locations worldwide. Today, approximately 85 restaurants left. 600 to 85. That's not a decline. That's an extinction event. If TGI Fridays were an animal, conservation biologists would be holding emergency meetings. And if you visit one of those 85 survivors, you'll see the difference. The loaded potato skins that used to come out crispy, piled with bacon and cheddar and a dollop of sour cream, they now arrive looking deflated. The bacon is sparse. The cheese has that processed sheen. The skins themselves are soggy instead of crisp. The appetizer sampler that used to feel like a party on a plate now looks like someone assembled it during a job they hate. The dining room is half lit, half full, and the energy that used to make Friday night feel like an event is just gone. The sign is the same. The soul of the place left a long time ago. The chain filed Chapter 11 in November 2024. 30 locations closed in a single month. The UK franchisee collapsed. 35 restaurants gone, over 1,000 jobs wiped out overnight. They're running on $37 million in debt and borrowed time. Remember the PE firm we talked about at number 4? Tri-Artisan Capital? The one that just bought Denny's? They're here too. TGI Fridays, Hooters, now Denny's. 3 restaurants, same investors, 2 bankruptcies, and counting. That's not bad luck. That's a business model. Now, every chain on this list told you they had a plan. Outback had a comprehensive turnaround strategy. Applebee's had a 4-pronged plan. Red Robin had a North Star. Jack in the Box had Jack on track. Denny's got bought by private equity. And TGI Fridays? They announced a turnaround plan aimed at global growth by 2030, from inside a bankruptcy proceeding. The parking lots tell a different story. Every one of these chains blames the pandemic. And yes, the pandemic hurt, but Texas Roadhouse faced the same headwinds. Chili's faced them. Olive Garden faced them. They adapted. TGI Fridays didn't. The pandemic was the match. Corporate mismanagement was the gasoline. TGI Fridays didn't just close restaurants. A piece of how this country socialized for 60 years went with it. Happy hour, loaded potato skins, the casual bar and grill as American as the mall parking lot it sat in. When that disappears, it doesn't get replaced. It just becomes a memory you describe to your kids while they look at you confused. If there's a TGI Fridays near you that's still open, it's running on borrowed time and borrowed money. If you want that one last dinner, the potato skins, the birthday booth, the Friday night feeling, don't put it off. But be honest with yourself about what you'll find. That version is already gone.
7 chains, 7 turnaround strategies, 7 different versions of the same lie. That a press release can fix what greed broke. But here's what matters. The chains that are surviving, Texas Roadhouse, Chili's, Olive Garden, faced every one of these same headwinds. The difference? They kept prices honest and treated loyalty like it goes both ways. That's the bar. And 7 chains on this list couldn't clear it. You're not helpless. You know what to look for now. The empty parking lots, the shrinking menus, the food that doesn't taste the way it used to. Trust what you see and take your money where it's respected. If you think this is just restaurants, wait until you see what we found ranking America's biggest grocery chains from worst to best. That video is on screen right now, and number 1 will change where you shop. Brand loyalty is a one-way street. They'll take yours, they won't return the favor.